You know guys, while I was working on the Mass Effect 1 retrospective, I was paying a lot of attention to Saren Arterius. And by the end of that video, I was wondering, how did we get here? When did Saren become indoctrinated in the first place? And how far back does it go? Saren was by no means a good person even before he met Sovereign, but after he met the machine, that's where he made the transition from brutal specter to being more of a tragic villain. In this video, I want to explain why I think Saren is the greatest Mass Effect villain. Greater than the Elusive Man, greater than Harbinger, greater than the Archon. I'm going to do my best to explain my reasoning for why I think this, but if your opinion is different, feel free to let me know in the comments. I think the most appropriate place to start is to discuss how Saren met Sovereign. This story is mainly told through the book Mass Effect Revelations, but I'm not going to get into it too much for this video. However, I am going to give y'all the extremely summarized version of it. Also, I did learn that the Kamal mission that Anderson mentions plays a part in things, but basically in the mid-2160s, while investigating an armed smuggling ring, Saren learns of two people, Edan Heda, a Batarian aristocrat, and Dr. Shu Qian, a human scientist. Fun fact, Kiwi Sanders used to work under Dr. Qian. It's how she got mixed up in everything. But anyway, Saren is looking for these two because they discovered an artifact that Saren believes could be weaponized to control the Geth and humble humanity. Remember, Saren hates humanity, so this would be appealing to him. Saren kills both of them and takes Dr. Qian's research, and dedicates himself to fighting the artifact, which turns out to be Sovereign. Not much is known of Saren's activities after he finds Sovereign. The only thing we know about this time is when Rex tells Shepard about his run-in with him. I think a big part of a great villain is how they're introduced. When Nihilus runs into Saren on Eden Prime, Nihilus puts his guard down because they're Spectres and old friends. They go way back. But everything about Saren at this point screams bad vibes. From the ominous music in the background to the way he looks. And then your suspicions are proven right. He shoots Nihilus in cold blood. Then as soon as he got what he needed from the Protean beacon, he attempted to blow up the entire space dock. And that's on top of the carnage that he, the Geth and the Reapers already wreaked on the planet. Saren was known to be ruthless, but it was with the end goal of completing his missions. This is different as he's now just murdering innocent people, using people as test subjects for his experiments. But on top of that, it's the threat that he poses to the entire galaxy. As soon as he found Sovereign, it was over for him. As I could guess, the indoctrination started not too long after that. By the time Mass Effect 1 starts in 2183, Saren's entrenched as the Reaper's prophet. He did accomplish his goal of controlling the Geth, but his motivations have changed a bit. Saren isn't a sympathetic character in the slightest, but he is a bit of a tragic one. When he went to search for the artifact/Sovereign, it was not only to control the Geth, but to put humanity in its place. It was the 2160s after all. The First Contact War was still fresh in everyone's minds, especially the Turians. Humanity was expanding rapidly in this decade, and it ruffled the feathers of the other races. It's why humans and Batarians have major beef as well. However, this was pushed to the back burner a bit, as his goal shifted from wanting to stick it to humanity, but wanting to save the galaxy. He learns, through Sovereign, the fate of many past civilizations, extinction, and that the Reapers were the main cause of it. I'm sure this was an oh crap moment for Saren. However, instead of fighting against the all-powerful Reapers, he decided to work with Sovereign, in the hopes of proving that organics can be useful to them, so that some lives can be spared from the inevitable. However, we know that plan was all for naught, as Sovereign's goal is to take out as many organics as possible, and that Saren is a tool to help it accomplish that, nothing more. Are his thoughts even his own anymore? Shepard can leave him with that food for thought on Vertmeyer, but when Sovereign could sense that Saren's resolve was starting to wane, Sovereign implants him to tighten his grip on the old Spectre. I cringed when I first heard that but that does open up this question. If Saren is serving the Reapers, shouldn't they be the greatest villain? Shouldn't it be the face of them, Harbinger? I mean, they are the overarching villains of the series after all. Well, to me, no. Being the most powerful villain of a series doesn't automatically make you its greatest one. The biggest advantage that Saren has compared to the other villains is his presence. Not only in the sense of how other people see him, but how we see him. Saren was already cunning and charismatic as it is, but with Sovereign's indoctrination abilities, That makes people follow him and be extremely loyal to him. Matriarch Benezia joins Saren in the hopes of steering him away from the path he's on. Last thing she knows, she's his consigliere. And that's not even including the Asari commandos, Krogan soldiers, researchers, assassins, whatever else he has on his payroll. Even without his Spectre status, it doesn't stop him from doing whatever he needs to. It's just more of an annoyance than anything. On top of all that, with him being the Reaper's prophet, the Geth will follow him to the grave and beyond. But the thing about all this is that once they're considered no longer useful to Saren, or if it benefits his ambitions, he's not afraid to get rid of them. That's not just his own people, but anybody. Eden Prime is a big example of this, but remember on Pharos? Saren traded Shiawa to the Thorian so that he could obtain the Protean Cipher, and after he got what he wanted, he tried to destroy it so no one else could get it. Like, huh? Practical, but dang. Although that thing is probably better off dead. But think about this as well. Shiawa was one of his most powerful biotics, a positive asset, but that didn't matter to him. Rana Thanoptis, as guilty as she is, wanted to get the hell out of the Vermeer facility because she felt it was only a matter of time until she became a test subject herself. And it wasn't just paranoia. Indoctrination captures all, guys. Sovereign could have turned it up a bit and she would have been more than willing. But speaking of Vermeer, what does Mass Effect 1 give you that no other game gives you? An opportunity to fight the villain. This is the one thing Saren gives you that the other ones don't. The Elusive Man is a non-combatant, except for that little display of Reaper power he shows. You don't go against Harbinger directly. It uses the Collectors as puppets to fight you, although he can surprise you in Mass Effect 3 and almost delete you. The Archon, I would say, is the closest to Saren, but it's more of the combination of fighting the Cat, the Remnant, and then turning off his power supply to defeat him. Turning off the power does kill him, so there is some reward there. In Mass Effect 1, you have 2 to 3 chances to fight Saren. The first is on Vermeer, where Saren shows off his old man strength and scoops Shepard off the ground. That was intimidating as hell, I can't lie. You can fight him in Citadel Tower, but you can pass this one if you have the persuasion points. He ends up dead either way you handle it, but then you get to the final fight of the game. Fighting Hopper Saren, or Reanimated Saren. Granted, he's no longer himself here, his corpse is being controlled by Sovereign, but the transformation, it's very unsettling. The intimidation factor is there in full force. Not to mention that he could be a pain to fight like this. And the end wraps things up nicely. Saren disintegrates, the feedback disables Sovereign's shields and allows everyone to destroy it. Saren is no longer under the Reaper's influence, but he's no longer among the living either. So, what do I think makes Saren the greatest Mass Effect villain? It's because of the threat he poses to the galaxy, but how he goes about carrying it out. We see his brutality, we see his cunning, his charisma, his strength. He has the resources and the people to carry out his plans, Spectre or not. And from a gameplay perspective, we get to have a direct confrontation with him. There's no Collectors, no Kai Langs, no Remnant, no Cat acting in the place of him. There are Geth, but you could put them and Saren down yourself. If only he never heard about that artifact. I wonder what he would have been doing in 2183. He seemed to have decent intentions with working with the Reapers, however he became just another cog in the Reapers' plans. His plan would have never worked, and this cycle would have just become another footnote in history. His twisted goal of saving the galaxy by unintentionally dooming it, having the resources to carry out his goal, combined with his more direct approach, makes Saren Arterius the greatest Mass Effect villain. And I hope the next villain in the series captures what made him so. But I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I hope I was able to articulate my points here. But who do you think is the greatest Mass Effect villain? Let me know in the comments section below. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
DJ Sonic Freak.